flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening and Happy New Year. Is there any public comment from the board?
Yeah, just wanted to share that in the vein of economic development, I went down to the town's clerk's office today and filed my own business certificate, so I'm now a business owner in the town of Lunenburg. And I'll say it was a pleasant experience, even though even I went to the wrong building first. I went to the clerk's office thinking that's where I had to go, but I had to go to the building department first and then the clerk's office. But everyone was very helpful, and town clerk, Kathy Herrick, actually had the foresight to ask me if I was going to the bank to get a business account, and I was, so she made sure I had the certified document from her, so I didn't have to go back to town hall after going to the bank. But I'll say that it was a pleasant experience, and hopefully I'll gain some other insight that through my process of starting a business that I can share with economic development and share with other people who are starting businesses in town.
Great. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Did you happen to catch the thing in the ledger on the Business Network International chapter they just started in town?
I did see that.
It looks interesting.
Yeah, I was talking to them and was going to join, but I don't have the time to, take away from my day job in Andover to do that. But
Right.
yeah, it seems like a good outlet for people to.
Yeah, it really does. I just had one thing that the open air burning permits, you can get them for this year. I'm very excited about that every year. You can burn from the 15th of January to the 1st of May. And the fire chief has made it really easy to get permits. You just call in the morning, you just go online in the morning you want to burn, and if the weather is okay to do that, you can burn.
I guess you have to shovel the snow away enough to find a place to.
Oh, I have a big pile.
Okay.
It melts all the snow.
Any public comment from the public? Okay, I have one announcement. The Senior Property Tax Work-Off Committee is seeking a member at large to serve on the committee. The committee meets during daytime hours periodically to administer the tax work-off program, which gives seniors age 60 and above an opportunity to receive an abatement of up to $1,000 off their property tax bill for doing various work for the town. If you have any questions or want more information regarding the committee, please contact the Council on Aging Director, Sue Doherty, at 978-582-4166.
How many people are on that committee? Do you know? I think probably 3.
I don't know off the top of my head.
It's not a large committee, 3 or 5, I believe.
Okay, thanks.
All righty. Our first order of business is the town manager report.
Okay, just a few things to report on tonight. 2 items on my report are covered later in the agenda. I can cover those now if you wish. Or
Sure.
Wait, okay. The 2018 MRPC District Local Technical Assistance application. We received notice from Montechusett Regional Planning Commission. They're requesting applications for what we call DLTA funding, and this is for 2018. Applications are due by the end of January. So in an effort to continue the work the administration has done towards creating a partnership between the town and the business community, the application request would be for technical assistance to implement 2 of the recommendations made by MRPC in their December 2017 report through the last round of DLTA funding. The 2 proposed projects would be to create a brochure that would promote local businesses that could also be put on our website, and also to create a permitting guidebook. The permitting guidebook would create a step-by-step process on how to navigate the permitting process, and it would also work in the new electronic permitting process that will be going live this spring. Both projects would require continued participation through meetings with the business community, land use departments, and the public, which was a positive means of increasing citizen engagement on this topic. The application requires a letter signed by the chairman that the subject was discussed and decided upon at a public meeting.
will there be any action or review of the permitting process? Or are they just going to put down
I
the status
believe-
quo?
I believe what they do is what the status quo is currently. That, if there were to be a review of the process, think that would be more internally.
It'd be good at least to have a listing of what the process is, and then we could review it afterwards. I think answering the question that I think you're asking is that there should be a review.
Right,
But I think we need to have what is the process first. And I think if we can get that as a baseline, then we can figure out what needs to be done. Because they may ask the question that there seems to be something missing here, that type of thing.
And when we say permit, we're talking about all types of permits?
Correct.
Okay, so building kind of permits, but also common vic or any
Other
other permit? Any other
applications,
applications or permits we have, okay.
How about starting a business in town?
Perfect for
That'd be
that
good.
type of.
It was nice to see how easy it was, actually. I was surprised. It didn't take very long at all. So
Okay,
maybe
so-
when we redo the website or something like that, too, if we could say, starting a business in Lunenburg type of thing would be good.
And did you catch that article in the Ledger about that new business
did.
group?
I
So
did.
that would be a good thing to reach
Yep.
out to, too.
They were included in the process for
Oh,
the
great.
workshops. Julie Paradise, I believe her name is, for the chapter in town, because I was aware of that group,
Oh, great.
that they've been meeting at the library, so I had included them in reaching out to them to be included in those workshops.
Great, thanks.
So you're proposing to apply for both?
Yes,
And so you're saying that we should take a motion to support it?
yes, that's what
So
I'm
moved.
requesting.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so I'll sign the application whenever you have it ready.
Okay. The next item that's under current business is a draft other post-employment benefit funding policy. So the draft policy addresses the necessity to manage the impact of this liability on the overall budget and create guidelines for funding this liability within the parameters of our available funding sources. The draft policy has been forwarded to the Finance Committee as well for their review. And in
So
your packet
When will we
is,
discuss that?
if you'd like to discuss it tonight, and then we can continue to discuss it at a later date.
Yeah, I'd like to start the
It
discussion.
is on the agenda, why don't we
Yep.
take that up, okay? We'll hold that, though.
Okay. The Town of Lunenburg Facebook page is now officially live, so I invite everyone to like our page. It went live today. And as previously discussed, this will be another means of getting information out to the public on upcoming topics, events being discussed by local officials, and public notices and other relevant information. So this will be for informational purposes only.
Now, who will post to the Facebook page?
I will be the administrator of the page, but people can send me information they would like to post. Like if a department had information they needed to get out, they send it to me and I post it.
That'd be great. You know, I ran into a situation just this week. Rubbish pickup was delayed, you know, because of the holiday. But then on Saturday, they didn't pick up the rubbish. And so now it's still there. And so today I called the DPW, didn't know anything about it. And so then I called Casella, and it took a long time. And I thought, it would be really nice to have that kind of information. One person call Casella, find out what the deal is, and then post it on the Facebook page so that people could know. All right, yep, you know, they will be there today sometime, you know. So I'd appreciate that.
So I've tried to find it on Facebook, and I can't find it yet, so,
Yeah, Damon was able to find it.
okay.
Yeah, so I
It's
think
the
it needs
only
to get
one
more
with the,
likes before it shows up.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
I'll
It is a
probably-
little difficult to find. What does it look like when you?
it has the town seal. It's the only one with the town seal.
And there's a picture of the town hall as the top of
And
the
as
page.
the, yeah,
Okay.
page.
I'll keep looking.
I get the Nova Scotia
It's
one.
called
I
Town
was
of
gonna say, yeah,
Lunenburg.
that's right.
That is a lovely town.
Okay.
The more people that like it, the easier it'll become
Okay.
to find.
Right. So please like it. Just
Guys
says,
on it? Yeah, all right.
we're up to 5 likes now. The town facilities, just a reminder that the date for the public forum for the seniors at the Eagle House to review town buildings will be on February 5th at 10 a.m. The snow date for this event is on February 26th at 10 a.m.
At 10 a.m. as well? Okay.
Yes. The property condition assessments, the reports for the property condition assessments will be issued by the week of January 15th and will then be incorporated into the capital plan upon receipt. A reminder that the date for the public forum to hear feedback on areas in town that would increase safety and accessibility for all modes of travel for people of all ages and abilities, otherwise known as Complete Streets, will be on Tuesday, January 9th, 2018 at 7 p.m. in the Middle School High School Collaborative Room A130. And the snow date for this event is January 16th at the same time. And that's all I have for tonight.
So will that be televised, the public forum?
It will be, I will be requesting it to be videoed, so it won't be live.
Is there some reason we can't do it here, or is it just easier to do it
It's
there?
being a collaborative type event like we did for the town buildings workshop. It's going to be the similar type of
Okay.
format.
Great.
Okay. So we're now up to current business, and we've already talked about the Delta, the District Local Technical Assistance, so now is the time to talk about OPEB, if you want to take a look at that policy. It's in your packet.
So the question I had is that I like how you're talking about taking 10% of certified free cash. It will be a sort of an automatic way of doing it. I'm assuming that we'd still have to vote to do it at town meeting
Right.
to transfer it. But then if we have more free cash, we put more in. If we have less, we put less in. And then you're going to start assessing the enterprise funds for their share, but you don't have a percentage of how you're going to actually draw it down. Are you going to take the entire liability in 1 year, or are you going to do a similar?
I think that would need to be worked out with the.
Okay. I think this is a good thing to do. Pension liability is funded over 50, 60 years, some long period of time. I think this is going to take a very long time, and I think that based on what other towns are doing, I think this is a good step. We still have the ability, if we had some windfall in one particular year, to make a deposit, even without the policy.
Right.
Okay. Thank you. That's all my comments.
Well, in that first guideline, where it says the town will seek to designate an amount equivalent to at least 10%, doesn't seem strong enough. I'd rather have the town shall designate.
Well, this is a policy. We can't tell town meeting what to do.
No, I'd like it to be, it just sounds too wishy-washy to me.
We could, whose policy is this? Is our policy?
Yeah, it's a Board of Selectmen, right?
The Board of Selectmen will request of town meeting an amount equivalent to at least 10%.
Okay, I like that better. Thanks.
That way it's an action item. And who's responsible to ask?
And under C, it says current retiree health benefit obligation. So what's the date at which that kicks in? What defines current?
Every year, we pay our current retiree health benefits. That's part of the budget, the operating budget.
So if you think about this, we will always have current retiree benefits. So
Right.
at what point do we have future? Because won't future at some point be for current retirees?
Right. Well,
I mean,
you'll always have future.
Right.
too, but
but won't it?
Well, no, but you pay your benefits out of you pay for current employees out of the operating budget.
Yeah.
And you fund OPEB for futures, right?
Right. But at some point, future will be used for current, because theoretically, you're always taking care of future liability. So it's a little bit of what we did with the road. We did a debt exclusion to get us kick-started with the understanding that we're eventually going to get to $1 million a year in funding for roads.
Right.
So that will turn into your moving from future to current. So I think this is okay for now. This is basically saying the annual retiree health benefits are going to be funded on a pay-as-you-go, in addition to we're putting money away. This is saying we're not going to take money that we put away for the future to fund a current year's operation.
Okay, okay. And at some point, the liability should be decreasing. So at some point.
We wouldn't have to continue to put money away.
Okay.
Well, using the roads as an example, hopefully we don't have a fund at some point because we're paying it out of operating.
Right.
It would be delightful to hear that we don't have an OPEB obligation, but that number's a whole lot bigger than the road number, and I'm not
Yes,
sure, I'm not
right.
sure we get there in any time that I'm.
We'll all be long gone before this is
Right,
completely
exactly.
funded.
Well, in that guideline A also, where it says, funding will be designated from the individual enterprise funds, we were just talking about that, so that the departments will sort of, it will show in the departments that are being funded by it, right?
No, this is saying that department will pay to fund it. Like, for instance, the sewer enterprise fund has one employee now with a portion of the DPW director, so it'll be calculated on that one employee's actuarially calculated amount.
Right.
Will it be a part of the DPW directors too? Will it get
Yeah,
down to
yeah,
that?
whatever the share is that enterprise fund should pay.
So, will the schools also be separated out? So that shows?
I think that's a conversation we're going to have through the process. That's never been done.
It wouldn't be charged to their department because it's coming from free cash. But we should have an allocation by department of what it is that is the outstanding amount.
Yeah, the budget should show what amount is being, funded for the schools. Because they really need to have, I think it should be a piece of their budget. I mean, obviously, their budget would have to be increased to allow for that, but,
But
they
the-
need to have some skin in that game, too.
The thing is, though, is that we're not doing that by all departments. The current retiree health benefits, so I get, the bigger question would be, current retiree health benefits, are we charging the school for the school retiree benefits? Or is it a separate line item for retiree health benefits, not charged to the...
Separated. No, I
But
believe it's
couldn't
just.
couldn't we separate it by
does the
police, fire, schools? Isn't that possible to do that from an accounting?
The question is, what are you trying to do with it? Because it doesn't change the bottom line.
Just to identify
The
the
actuarial
costs of
report.
the departments.
The actual,
The actuarial report separates it by school, town, and
Enterprise.
enterprise.
Do you see, is that part of the budget? Do we see it? I'd like to see it in the budget.
The
As opposed to
future
the
liabilities
Schedule
aren't
19.
in the budget. This is new to last year. The trust fund was created in 2010, but last year was the first time we funded any money towards the trust fund.
I think what would be good for the actual vote, because I would recommend that this be a separate article maybe for the first vote, and then maybe put into the budget. Well, no, it's always going to be a separate vote because it's going to be coming from free cash, probably. Not necessarily. That we have for that vote, the allocation of the school, town, and enterprise fund, so we can have this discussion at town meeting. I think that's the way to do it, is to see what that liability is.
Now, do we have a separate OPEB liability for those three funds now? When we get the actuarial reports, is there three different OPEB liabilities?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
They do identify what each is.
Yeah.
All right.
It's all one liability, but they allocate it based on
right.
that.
Now, what's the financial model this is based on? I mean, how do we know 10% is enough or not too much? Or,
You
I
don't.
mean, what do we
You
owe?
don't.
What's
Yeah,
the liability?
It's what we can,
What is the
what is
liability?
the reasonable, it's 48 million.
48 million. So free cash this year is about 800,000, which would mean we'd be putting $80,000 in towards that
Towards
million.
48
That's
million.
why we're saying that this process is going to be long, when we're all gone, dead and buried.
So shouldn't you think about putting more than 10%?
If
So
you have it,
If you have it, and what are you going to take it away from?
Yeah,
take
because
it
free
away.
cash pretty much funds capital projects,
Yeah.
which is
Right.
already
It-
exceeds the free cash amount, so more than 10% seems unlikely.
It's actually an actuarial exercise. I mean, the town has been paying it as a pay-as-you-go forever. It's just actuarially, when you look at what your future obligation is, it comes out to a big number.
Yeah.
But the assumption is you continue paying as you go, and you always have at least enough to pay what you owe, your obligation for any given year. You just don't fund your future obligation overnight.
And
Right, but, I mean, we should, it should be really a big part of every negotiation, I mean, you really, we're just, borrowing against our children's future.
But I don't think that we should pay for everything that our predecessors didn't do either. So I think we have to be careful and not rapidly take care of $48 million. And,
Yeah, not that we could even if we wanted to,
Right.
but.
and so
But
the same thing happened with the pension liability, that's been going on for 25, 30 years that this has been funded, and we're looking at 25, 40 years longer. So, and that's been a recognition that was a change of operations, and I think that this is something that's going along. There's some towns that are not making any effort whatsoever.
Right.
I think this is a good, another step towards making the commitment that we're trying to fund that liability, known liability.
And it says at a minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So we can choose, if we have a larger amount in 1 year, to put more away. I think what this is committing to is we're going to take a portion. And 10% is a pretty substantial portion
It is.
from free cash.
Yeah, and I do like having it allocated by departments.
I would
You
make a
can see it.
motion that we approve this policy.
Second.
Any further discussion? My only question is, you're circulating it to the FinCom as well.
Yeah, so
And
maybe
we
we
certainly
should-
are interested in their input, but do we need to wait for their input, or is,
I would be fine
I think
to
we should
approve
do
it, subject to the Finance Committee's approval.
is, you okay with seconding that
Yeah,
way?
yep.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
All righty. Our next item is to discuss the meeting schedule for January through March. This is just, we have so many of these different forums and charrettes, et cetera. I wanted to kind of make sure that we were aware of the ones that were already scheduled and that we were working towards scheduling anything that we know about, at least for the first quarter. So you're aware of some of them, right? Would you walk us
Yes,
through?
and
Yeah,
I
okay.
touched base on a couple of the upcoming ones. So Complete Streets is next Tuesday at 7 PM at the high school.
Okay,
January 10th, I will be meeting with the Charter Review Committee, discuss the town manager within the charter.
okay.
January 11th, there's a Finance Committee meeting at 7 PM. Right now, I'm not sure of any specific topic they'll be discussing if you'd like to attend, other
Will
than
they be
maybe
talking
this
about
policy.
this?
January 16th, we have a regular Selectmen's meeting. The 23rd is a regular Selectmen's meeting. And January 25th is the 5-year financial forecast presentation. So
Now, where is that this year? Is that at FinCom or here?
FinCom.
FinCom,
Okay.
Will that be televised?
I assume it will be.
Yeah. But we're posting that as well, so that if we have a quorum, we can
Okay.
deliberate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
February 5th, that's the public forum with the seniors at 10 a.m. at the Eagle House. The 6th, there's a regular Selectmen's meeting. The 8th, Finance Committee meets. February 13th, the Selectmen meet, regular schedule. February 20th, the Selectmen have a regular meeting. And February 22nd, Finance meets.
All right, so there's no workshop in February as of right now, is that correct?
Correct. Nothing scheduled.
Is there anything on our workshop list that we're ready to slot in there, or not necessarily?
Um,
Want to think about that, and we'll talk about it next week?
Yes,
Or
because
if
we
you
probably
wanna-
have I'm trying to coordinate a meeting where MRPC comes back out to present specifically to the businesses that were included. I know a lot weren't in attendance at that night, but that will be another kickstart, and hopefully we'll hear on this grant in the meantime. So that could be a early February meeting
Okay.
related to economic development.
Okay. And I'd like to have, if we require an executive session, I'd like to have a discussion of the town manager's salary and have our labor council join us for that. And I'd like to try to get that accomplished in January, if that pleases the board. So let's shoot for that one, if Mark's available, maybe the 16th meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
16th of
January.
January.
Anything else anybody feels we're missing at the time? I mean, I personally feel we're getting a lot done in terms of the workshop. At least we're kicking them off and we're addressing them. But, I think we have to cycle back on some of them. And I know Mrs. Bertram is always looking for next steps and, and I'm feeling that we're getting close to doing that.
And, with at the last, I think it was the economic development meeting, there was a lot of talk about a survey. Does anybody do anything about that?
That's in my ballpark right now.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
At some point, I think it would be good to talk about parks in a forum kind of setting, but I don't know if February is too soon. It seems like right now there are parks is trying to develop their turf management plans and stuff like that and try to get their current house in order before they start asking for new stuff. But it would be, again, when we're talking about the center of town, what people's expectation is for parks. February might be too soon for that, but
Maybe we put it on the list of workshops we want to have, but not necessarily try to plug February. Maybe March or
yeah.
April would be more appropriate. Okay. Something else just flashed through my mind. I lost it. Oh, the results of the building stuff. Are we going to actually make that a report out here in any way, or
The energy efficiency?
no,
Facilities
the
review.
facilities review? What's
Meaning the
it's going to be done on February, on
week of
January
February-
15th?
January 15th.
Yeah, what's the report process of that? Is there any?
The reports will go to the capital planning committee.
Right.
They'll be incorporated into the capital plan,
Okay,
and we can discuss that at the next available selectmen's meeting
okay.
over the results.
Yeah, I just wanted to at least have a discussion of what we learned. Great. Anything else?
Found the Lunenburg page.
Yes.
I liked
Took all
it,
that time?
because actually somebody else had posted it and shared it, and so I liked it from their part, so.
All right, great. We have minutes for November 14th, November 21st, November 28th, and December 5th. Have any warrants?
Yes.
For accounts payable in the amount of $183,673.17. Payroll in the amount of $825,224.17. And another accounts payable in the amount of $3,122,718.84. And that includes the payment of $2.5 million in the school note. That's why that's so high.
Thank you.
I was wondering that myself. Any action file issues?
Oh, I have one thing. I noticed that there were links to the information on the moratorium on newly paved roads, as well as the schedule over the next few years, so I was really happy to see that in the tax bill. Not so happy with the tax bill, but, happy with the notice. If folks don't have computers and want this information, can they just call the DPW to get a copy
I
of it?
assume they can, yes.
Great. And I was wondering, what's the status? Do you know if any waivers of this moratorium have been requested yet?
None that I'm aware of.
Yeah, it seems that currently, the BOS will only know of a waiver request if it's denied by both the DPW director and the town manager. It seems to me it would be appropriate to have a log of all requests for waivers, and that when waivers are requested, we'd be made aware of the requests that are determined to be granted with the reasoning for granting the waiver. Because I think that's certainly of equal importance to the waivers that are denied.
So I think it's good to have the information, but our job is to develop policy and let the day-to-day go to the town manager. And I think that, we don't need to know on an each case basis, but certainly on an annual basis, a quarterly basis, the way like we get the animal control report today of what's happened, if there's been anything. So we know what's going on, but just not on a daily basis.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think it would be an interesting data point on some regular basis for how many we got and how many were approved or whatever. Yeah.
Right, because it would be useful to know how well the word's gotten out.
Mhm.
People aren't requesting many, they know. Great,
Okay.
thanks. So you'll take care of that? Great.
Any committee reports? Mr. McQuaid?
Capital Planning met tonight with the DPW director, and it was he described it as a kind of a trough in needs this year as far as vehicles and equipment. Next year it's going to ramp back up again, but maybe this year it gives us some space to think about other needs. So that's good.
The school committee meets tomorrow night. They're going to have a revised capital plan and the superintendent's recommended FY19 budget.
No report?
Council on Aging is going to be with us, when is that, the 16th?
I believe that was today.
Yeah, at one of our January meetings. They're going to join us and share with us their goals and accomplishments, et cetera. So I think that might become a good model for getting feedback from various committees and boards. Okay. The quarterly animal control officer report is in your package. Is there any?
I'd like to comment that they have greatly improved the closing the loop process that we've had for the discussion of what actually did the animal control officer do is now getting reported in that log, so that's a great improvement. I will note that there was a recent thing on Discussing Lunenburg page on an animal that the people were given the wrong information from dispatch, and the animal control was never notified. Ultimately, the animal control did respond once she heard about it. So I know the police chief is working on that. The dispatch said that the animal control officer did not deal with wild animals, and the animal control officer does if they are at a danger, if they're injured or if there's a danger to the public. So they were giving partial information to the caller. So then what happens is that when people don't get an answer that's dealing with what seems right, they go onto Facebook. So I know that's continuing work from the police chief, but I think that this animal control report is a great improvement over prior reports.
So the dispatcher didn't forward anything to the animal control? He just said they don't deal with it?
They don't deal with wild animals.
Oh,
And that's technically correct if it's just a wild animal and you've seen a bear go through the woods and it's not hurting anybody and it's not hurt, they don't deal with that. So, but if this animal was hurt or is rabid and could possibly hurt people, then the animal control does get involved.
Anything else on the animal control report?
it's a lot of reports.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot of
that's
calls.
right.
She's a busy woman.
Okay. So our upcoming schedule, again, we have the workshop on the 9th and then a regularly scheduled meeting on the 16th. Is there any public comment from the public? Any final public comment from the board?
Stay warm.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Make a
Good
motion, we
evening.
adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.